It seems clear that the question is not whether we will have a conflict with Ukraine, but when it will start. If the Olympic tradition were to be respected, we would have the chronicle of an announced war, a month after the end of the Beijing Olympics. But let's not forget, the Russian Federation violated this tradition in 2008 when it attacked Georgia, during the Beijing Olympics, but also when it annexed Crimea during the Sochi Olympics. The war in Ukraine has already begun, psychologically and technologically. A rather pessimistic conclusion is that the West is quite divided. I would like to emphasize that, in the end, the conflict in Ukraine and the conflict on NATO's eastern flank also have a somewhat beneficial effect in that the United States, which seemed completely convinced to move its conflict front to Asia, seems to be re-involved. In European politics, which from our point of view should be an important and advantageous thing. As far as our action is concerned, it is obviously not about getting involved in a physical war in Ukraine, participating in military operations, but about how, in practice, a sufficiently strong deterrent effect can be created along with a $50 billion sanctions plan designed to punish Russia if it attacks Ukraine. And here it is more about elements related to the cyber area, logistics issues, aspects that in a way have been highlighted by other NATO countries on the Eastern Front. Vladimir Putin is a very experienced politician, who does not bluff, and the military actions he orders are very carefully calculated, are a stress test for the Western world, and in the end are a form of negotiation. Iskander-M, with a range of 500 kilometers, carries 500 kilograms of explosives, but its warhead can also be nuclear. If used in the conflict in Ukraine, it would mark the first use of a tactical nuclear weapon in war conditions. The Russians equipped the Iskander brigade with additional P-78-19 launchers, effectively doubling the brigade's capacity. That is why the U.S. State Department also ordered the evacuation of the families of the diplomatic staff from Kiev. The Russian military is ready to launch caliber cruise missiles from warships and submarines in the Baltic and Black Seas. These missiles, whose range is 2,400 kilometers, were used by the Russian army in the conflict in Syria. Their conduct would send a clear signal that President Vladimir Putin has ordered the Russian army to move forward and invade Ukraine. A state of emergency dominates the chancelleries of the great Western powers, which are watching Russia's movements, but I still don't know what kind of response it should give. Russia is gathering evidence against the West, and is looking for a weak link, which, at the right time, will foolishly respond to well-thought-out challenges. Gerhard Schroeder, director of the Nord Stream company, the controversial project to transport Russian gas directly to Germany, the special relationship between the two countries caused a lot of headaches in the offices of the UN, but also in Brussels. German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock paid a visit to Kiev, Ukraine earlier this week, to relaunch relations between the two states and send an indirect signal to Moscow that she should soften the threats of war. The strategic partnership between Romania and the USA, a key diplomatic element for discouraging Russia. In the first phase, the impact would be a positive one both in terms of the geostrategic role played by Romania, but also an economic one. On the other hand, an armed conflict in Europe, once started, is difficult to predict when and how it will end.